Now she's just gonna eat away on that.
What are you making, Jeremiah?
Black-eyed peas.
Black-eyed peas? Why do we eat black-eyed peas?
I don't know.
Because they're delicious?
Yeah. They're pretty good. It does look like they have a black eye.
I am cleaning and cutting collard greens. I just use a knife and run along the rib. This is what I'm calling the rib, the stem. Just breaking them off one at a time. I'm not sure how you do it, but I just do that. I leave the least little bit of the stem on the top, and when you get enough, you just fold them up
and chop, chop,
and chop, chop.
Chop, chop.
Now,
But make sure not to chop your hands.
yeah, don't cut your fingers. That's not.
Or anything else important.
That's not good. Once you get them cut like that, then I cut them crossways to cut them into small pieces. And these are going to cook down. If you've ever cooked greens, turnip greens, collard greens, kale, you know that they're going to shrink down to almost nothing. If Catherine will hold the phone up and show you, this whole big pot's going to be full of collard green leaves. I've got this much more to put in there. But when we get done, it's probably going to be about that much left.
Maybe around this?
Yeah.
Maybe a little more.
The liquid that's left in the bottom is called pot liquor, and that is worth its weight in gold eaten with cornbread. It's as good as the collard greens themselves. So yeah, I just take a big chef's knife, use it like a machete, go down either side of that center stalk,
May I try?
and then fold the leaves up.
May I try? No, I've never done this before, so.
Do a dad.
No.
Now y'all, we know that our house is messy back there. This is real life. We live here.
No, you don't.
Don't chop too close towards me. Yeah, that'll work.
Captain didn't do bad. Didn't do exactly what Dad did.
Hey, you try to do better.
Well, he washed the peas for us. Now, one of the reasons why we have peas and collard greens is because tradition, mostly. Because our ancestors had black-eyed peas and collard greens.
So guys, right now I'm outside and I'm going to feed this bigger stem to Scooter. And these other small ones I'm going to feed to our rabbits and chinchillas. So, put them down. Here you go. Oh, I think it won't fit to there, so. Yeah. And of course I drop it. Don't hit him. There. And he's just going to chomp away on that. So, yeah, he's just going to chomp away on that. And let's go and feed these to the chinchillas and rabbits. So I'm going to put these here. Hi. You want one for you? There. You smell it, don't you? Oh. Now chinchillas, they love this. Oh, she's pulling it back into a little tube. You get it. There you go. Get it. There you go. Now she's just gonna eat away on that. Now she doesn't really like to come out for a little tube, so yeah. Let's go to the other ones.
We have some weird superstitions about New Year's Day down here in the South. One of them is that whatever you do on New Year's Day, you're going to spend the majority of your time all year long doing for the rest of the year. My Granny Day would not wash clothes on New Year's Day because she didn't have to wash clothes all year long. I don't know who she thought was going to wash those clothes. But she would spend all day cooking and washing dishes. Who else was going to do it? Also, for every collard green that you eat, you're supposed to get $1 bill during the year. And every black-eyed pea that you eat, you're supposed to get a penny. So eat lots and lots of black-eyed peas and collard greens so that you get rich. It's also supposed to be really good luck to have black-eyed peas, and if you don't eat lots of black-eyed peas, then your luck's going to run out. You're also supposed to open your door at midnight on New Year's Eve, let the old year out, so the new year can come in. Kind of like with a horseshoe, you don't want your luck to run out, so you got to hang it a certain way. I don't believe any of that. So where do you live? What do you eat on New Year's Day? Do you have anything that is tradition? Do you have any old wives' tales? Any superstitions surrounding New Year's or the winter solstice in general? Let me know down in the comments. I'm still chopping the collards, and we got them in this big pot. We're going to have to wash them 3 or 4 times because collards are notoriously dirty. These were grown in South Florida, and so they're very sandy. Collards that we grow here, well, if I were to grow collards, they would grow in a raised bed, so they would be covered in sawdust and compost. But if I were to buy collards elsewhere that were grown here, they'd be covered in red clay. So they have to be washed. So some people will take and they'll wash the leaves off individually beforehand, before you cut them up. I dump them out in the sink and swash them around and strain them. Yeah, Daniela's here. She's helping me. You can go ahead and do that if you want. We always eat greens of some sort, whether it's cabbage or turnip greens or collard greens on New Year's Eve, on New Year's Day, because that's what's fresh. That's what's fresh and growing in the garden. It's what we have. The tradition of eating black-eyed peas dates all the way back to the Civil War period. While she's doing that, and I'm talking, I'm going to cut up these stems, and that's going to go to feed the birds tomorrow. But when the Union troops invaded the South, they took all our food. The black-eyed peas and even the collard greens, they were slave foods and poor people food. You know, the people in the plantation, they ate well. But us common folk, we had to eat poor people food. Leftovers sometimes, as it were. But when the Union troops invaded, they saw the stored up black-eyed peas or field peas or pink-eyed purple hull peas or pigeon peas, all types of, you know, if you look in the Baker Creek catalog, they're classified as cow peas. And that's exactly what the Union troops thought they were. They thought that it was animal food, not worth eating. So that's all that was left. After the Union troops invaded our cities, there was nothing left for our ancestors to eat except for black-eyed peas and leaves that were growing out in the yard. The Union troops took everything else. And so we were left with very little, our ancestors. And so, in celebration of that, in remembrance of that, we always eat black-eyed peas and greens on New Year's Day. And we go all out and we have some ham too. And some cornbread. Nowadays we have some macaroni and cheese with it. And usually some kind of pie. I think we're going to have pecan pie with our supper tonight. Now, traditionally, we'd have a New Year's Day dinner about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But sweet Daniela had to work today, and so she just got home, and so we're going to have supper about 6 o'clock. So we're gonna have, well, we're gonna have a Boston butt pork roast cooked in the oven. We're going to have cornbread and macaroni and cheese out of a box because that's what our kids will eat. Our kids aren't spoiled by any means, but we are a diverse family, and so we try to cater to some of their individual likes and dislikes. But I do have some ham. We're going to have some ham, and if we had made any, we would have some chow chow. Chow chow is a pickled cabbage vegetable product. Usually has it can have green tomatoes in it or peppers. Usually has some onions. Heard that some people even put mayonnaise on their black eyed peas. I think that's taking it a little bit too much.
I work with some people that do that.
You work with people that put mayonnaise on their black eyed peas?
I never saw that before.
My mother puts mayonnaise in her mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
I tried to tell her that that's just potato salad at that point. But to each their own. She also puts mayonnaise in her butter beans. I don't eat her butter beans.
But again, I put butter in my coffee, so I don't know.
Daniela puts butter in her coffee. She learned that from the keto group, though.
I love the dough.
That is a breakfast replacement. Just black coffee with butter in it. Low carb, high fat, keto kind of thing. We're going to start that back up in a week or so once we have eaten through our winter stores of cookies and crackers and things that we have bought for the holidays. I know I'm just rambling. You're just sitting here with me while I'm cutting collard green stems to use as bird food tomorrow. Here, let's take a look at that. So yeah, like I've already said, our house is lived in. We are poor folk. We moved into this house 10 years ago and there was not a kitchen. There was not a bathroom. There was no electricity. It was worse than not even having electricity. There was no wiring in the house. Whoever was here before, well, once, yeah, they took everything with them, including the kitchen cabinets. The wiring was stripped out of the walls and sold as scrap, I am sure.
And remember the tin of the roof.
Yes, the metal roof was missing in large parts. And the back half of the house was rotted off. I think we have come a very long way. But we tackle the big projects as we get money for them. And smaller projects like trim and paint and things like that get left. It's hard to justify spending a couple $100 on crown molding when you still have a hole in the wall in the laundry room. But we're working on it. Have y'all ever seen the ceiling of our kitchen? We didn't have money for sheetrock for the ceiling of our kitchen. So when it came time, once we could afford the insulation, we just drug in old roofing tin that came off of an old barn, and we reused it on our ceiling in the kitchen. And you know, it's been up for 8 or 9 years and we like it. Well, friends, I've got to mix up some cornbread and help Daniela get this roast in the oven. So thanks for watching. God bless you. Bye-bye. Yum, yum.